Blessings. Welcome to Mental Wellness for the Culture. I am your host, Belinda Battle. I'm so excited to be here for season 3. This is our opportunity to interact and engage on the path to mental wellness as a significant and essential part of our culture. I am so excited to welcome back our friend to Mental Wellness for the Culture, the amazing Dr. Magda Demmette. She is the owner of Wonderful Counselor and also serves for the nonprofit as Vice President of Operations for the nonprofit of SEAT, which is the Center for Equitable Access and Treatment of Trauma. Welcome, Dr. Demmette.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for inviting me again. Belinda, I am excited to be with you and your audience and get into this conversation.
I am so excited because there are 2 things that I really want us to focus on today. But
Okay.
First things first.
Yeah.
My friend.
Yes.
Because even though we're colleagues, we're also friends.
Yes.
We are therapists that work a great deal in the community.
Yes.
Let's dive into this one critical issue.
Okay.
A few nights ago, a prominent political figure made a statement about immigrants on a national platform. After that statement was made, there was an immediate response from the immigrants. And on some level, all of us are immigrants. An immediate response about the emotional fallout from that statement.
Yes.
We could see it on calls. We could hear it on calls. We could see it on social media posts, private messages too. I'm sure you received private messages about the trauma that was triggered from that statement.
Absolutely.
Please just take one moment, speak to the audience about what you heard and how we can heal.
Yeah. So, not only the one prominent political figure, but then the other one came and repeated it after on a national stage. And so, the group chats were on fire. The WhatsApp groups were on fire. I live in the city of North Miami that has a very strong Haitian community, and those comments were specific to the Haitian immigrants in that area that recently came. But to your point, this is impactful to all immigrants because when they come, right, the xenophobia that exists when you're not clear or you don't understand a culture, you don't understand a people, you start to make things up about what you see. And then if something's happening in your community, yes, then the only group of people to blame are the ones who just came here, right? Because this wasn't happening before, even though the claims that were made are still unsubstantiated to this moment. So the community has responded. The community has been triggered.
Yes.
This is trauma that was rooted deep down in the 70s when we began to have the influx of immigrants coming with that. And unfortunately, and just in all honesty, we dealt from it from other people that looked like us, other Black people who made comments about the fact that we ate cat, who made comments about the fact that we were spreading HIV/AIDS, that's talked about our food and our culture. They called one of our signature dishes in Haiti, which is bouillon. They called it, that dirty water, right? And so going to school during that time was very, very difficult. We had a lot of peers that talked about being bullied in school. A lot of Haitian youth struggled in school, dropped out of school because the bullying was just on another level. And so after years and after years of rebuilding this community and really making the narrative more true in terms of who we are and what we bring to the table. I mean, it's to the point now I go to some of my local restaurants here where they're, Haitian eateries, And I'm seeing African American, like Black people come in, and now they're asking for that bouillon. They're asking, right? Like they're asking for griot, right? They're asking for these foods. And it did my heart good. That was just 4 months ago. I was like, look at that. Look how far we've come. Only to be subjected to this. So it was definitely a trigger. And there was a TikTok that I saw, and this gentleman who does like these posts highlighting the Haitian culture, he was like, he put in the post, where are all my other cultural friends that were told we eat animals? And there was an Asian guy that kind of came out in the TikTok, because this is what they do. This is what people do when they don't understand. They see success, they see hard work, and when we don't understand people and why they are the way they are, there must be something wrong. So how can we heal? I think connecting with each other, talking about it, saying I've been triggered, right? And then really leaning into the community that understands and that gets it. And then providing that education, sharing the knowledge, helping people understand where this came from, that it has no basis, and really what the truth is about who we are and where we come from. And so, what is different now? What is absolutely different now is that back then it was people that looked like us, but now the people that look like us are standing next to us. They're,
Absolutely.
and they are behind us, and they're saying, no, this is not,
Absolutely.
we're not doing this.
We
We are
are not doing
going.
this. Right. We're going to be unified in that voice that we are not doing this. We will not allow this to continue. That's how we heal. It's by unifying ourselves and voting. We have to go
Absolutely.
vote. So I
Absolutely.
appreciate you and your words. I hope the conversation continues. I know that SEAT is in the community and providing that support for anyone that has been traumatized from these words. So please continue to reach out and make sure unity is at the forefront.
Absolutely.
I, Thank you so much, Dr. Demmette. I want us to also talk today about the fact that September is Suicide Prevention Month.
Yes.
And there are traumas associated with the loss of life in our communities from suicide. Take a moment, share your initial thoughts about our community, suicide, loss of life, trauma that you can share with our audience.
Yes. My initial thoughts, great segue. I love that, coming into it, right? What's the initial thought? The initial thought that comes up for me is, there was a time when we said the word suicide, that we associated it with a crime, right? We say committed suicide. And what initially came up for me is, I see that our community is getting better about understanding that this isn't a crime. This was this person's permanent solution to a problem that was likely temporary, right? When you don't see a way out, when the tunnel is just too dark, when it just feels like it's too overwhelming, sometimes the brain cannot rationalize any other solution except, well, maybe if it all stopped. If it all stopped. So that's what initially comes to mind for me, is that I'm grateful that our community is becoming more aware, and that they're leaning into the side of empathy instead of judgment when we do unfortunately hear something like suicide, death by suicide, taking place in our communities.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing those initial thoughts. I want to share with our audience, what are some signs? What should we be looking for? What should we consider as we approach the holidays? We may have more contact with family members than we've had in a while. But what are some things family members, friends can look for if a person is struggling with suicidal thoughts?
Yeah. So one of the things that you're going to always notice when it comes to mental health challenges of any kind, and we really associate depression with suicide, mood disorders, bipolar, major depressive. We typically associate those disorders with suicide. But one of the things that you'll see, and one of the criteria that we use as clinicians to diagnose, is really extreme changes in behavior, mood, sleeping patterns, eating patterns, right? Extreme changes. Someone that used to go out a lot now doesn't want to go out at all. Someone who used to really take good care of themselves, took pride in their appearance, doesn't care anymore. All of a sudden, someone who used to cherish their space and cherish their belongings, now they're wanting to give away things. They don't want things anymore. Hopelessness, helplessness, right? That kind of communication that just sounds like they want to give up. Like there's no other way to deal with the problem or deal with the situation. Those are absolutely key critical signs that we need to pay attention to. But one of the signs that people overlook often is high levels of euphoria, right? So let's say the person was sad. Let's say the person was having all these emotions, and then they wake up one morning and they're great. And they're smiling and they're laughing. And you're like, oh, phew, dodge that bullet. They're good. Everything's all right. That could actually mean that they have come to full acceptance with the decision to end their life. And that actually relieves the burden and causes that sense of euphoria and happiness and freedom that they're already wanting to feel from completing suicide. So those are some definitely some warning signs that we can pay attention to.
Absolutely. And we need to make sure we are paying attention and we're having these conversations with the people in our family and our circle of care and concern.
Yeah.
But one of the things I often hear, and I thought we were getting away from it, but I still hear it, is that if you talk about suicide, that means that you are giving the person the idea to hurt themselves, harm themselves. What do you think about that? Is it okay for us to actively talk about suicide?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You aren't giving anyone any ideas by talking about suicide. We know that talking about it and asking directly the question of whether or not you're having thoughts about killing yourself or killing someone else, we know that those direct questions allow us to see and really assess what someone is going through to provide them the support that they need to prevent such a thing from taking place. So no, there is no, oh my gosh, if I bring it up, maybe I'm giving them the idea. Now, the younger, right? We want to be mindful. We want to be cautious. The younger the child is, we definitely want to watch how we phrase things, maybe get a therapist to consult with so that you can ask the question in a way that the child will understand. But we hear about 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds taking their lives because from somewhere they've learned that this is the best way to go, right? Maybe without you even thinking, when you say something like, yeah, grandma has passed away, she's at peace now, and she's in heaven, right? A child who might be experiencing immense amount of pain and don't know what to do with that is probably thinking, I want to be at peace and I want to be in heaven with grandma, because if she's at peace, then maybe I won't feel, right? So what we think when we say, oh, do you want to, like, there are many, many ways we process information and draw conclusions about things. And so we just need to ask. We just need to ask the question. And if, as the younger the child is, I would definitely recommend consultation about how to do that in a healthy way.
I love that, because that gives me the power to ask the question. Take a deep breath and ask the question. That gives you more information and also leads you to what you need to do next. The more information you have, the better decisions you can make about how to help someone that may be having suicidal thoughts. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to continue, but I want to dig a little bit into our communities. I've read that the suicide rates for Black men, Black boys, has increased in the last 5 to 10 years. What can we do to make sure we're creating safe spaces? And when I say we, I'm thinking about everybody that we are connected to in the culture, meaning the church, um, local, national organizations that support men and boys, um, the
Yes.
barbershop,
Yes.
places we know men and boys go to on a regular basis. What can we do to make sure on the basketball court, on the sports field, to make sure mental wellness regarding suicide is a part of the culture, is being normalized in these spaces?
Yes. Well, I think this platform, this work that you're doing, Belinda, is definitely a part of that, right? The learning piece, the psychoeducation that goes into people understanding that this is just somebody's struggle and they're needing someone to listen to them without judgment. So let's start there, right? The barbershop is a classic place for being heard and being able to share your opinion, but there's going to be some judgment, right? And definitely more than likely some masculine energy where you get the man ups, or you got this, don't let nothing bother you, be tough kind of thing. And I think our children now, our millennials or Gen Zs, our Gen Alphas, they have feelings, and they have big feelings. These post-COVID children coming in, and they want to talk about it, right? And so we need to give them that space to do that without judgment, without letting them get two words out and interrupting them to say X, Y, and Z. Oh, but you don't know what you're talking. Oh, but you're too young. Oh, you'll get over it. Oh, don't worry. Oh, that's not. And we often do that because we're uncomfortable. We don't know how to handle what it is that's being said to us. And so we, right, project how we would handle it for ourselves onto them. When a lot of the times listening without judgment is just a key piece of that, just listening to the person and letting them share what they need to share without cutting them off, without judgment. Then provide support. And I'm going to use a corporate phrase, a lingo here, close the loop. And so what I mean by that is if they say something and something don't sit well with you in your spirit about whatever they said, right? And you followed up with them and something's still not feeling right, follow up. If it was a parent that dropped off that child to the barbershop, for example, go to that parent and say, listen, I don't want you to be alarmed or anything, but I definitely think we need to keep a closer eye on X, Y, and Z for the next few days. They mentioned something. It didn't sit well with my spirit. I had a conversation with them. Let's just kind of make sure we're keeping a close eye on what's going on with them, and just give ourselves the opportunity to come around this person as a community. Same thing with the church, right? Someone brings up something in the youth ministry, for example, right? Where's the follow-up? Let's close that loop. Let's make sure somebody else is alerted to what this child could possibly be going through, specifically our young boys who are less likely to share, less likely to communicate. So when they finally do, we as a community have to be there to give them that pillow so they can lay their head and say the things that they need to say in a safe and comfortable way.
I love that term, close the loop, because oftentimes you hear someone say, oh, I heard so-and-so say something, or she mentioned, and we don't follow up. We don't trust our own instincts and our own gut feeling about situations carry us a long ways if we allow ourselves to trust that.
Absolutely.
When we think about closing the loop, it makes me think about resources.
Yes.
I know, I can't remember what year, maybe it was last year, the last 2 years, 988.
Yes.
988
Yes.
has become the number to call when there is a crisis or a suicidal issue going on within your home, within your community, within your school. Individuals can call or text 988 for support.
Yes.
What are some additional resources? What do you think about 988? Is that a great resource for our community to utilize also?
So I think that it is a resource that's available 24/7. I'll be honest, everything is an opportunity to help yourself. And you might pick up that phone and someone may answer it and they may not be very helpful. And that's okay. Hang the phone up, call back. You'll get someone else more than likely until you get the help that you need. I can't honestly say that that resource is going to be reflective of something that is going to 100% support people that look like us and our specific needs. But more than likely, there are people who are working on those on the other side of those lines that can. So just continue, keep trying, right? It's almost like looking for a therapist as well. I often connect that to like dating. Like you just kind of keep going until you make the connection that works for you in what it is that you need. 211 is also a local resource that we have here in Miami-Dade County. And that is, I believe, ran by the Miami Jewish hotline, I believe. And that one houses almost all the resources that you could think of in Miami-Dade County. So if you need to follow up with some services or connect with some services, that's definitely a tool that you can utilize. We here, your friends at seat.org, we are also here to support you and guide you to any other resources, or if it is trauma or whatever it is that we can provide, we'll definitely do that as well. Schools. Our school system is such a huge resource. Go to your guidance counselors, go to your trust counselors, go to your mental health coordinators. I love that we have those in our schools now. They are also opportunities to explore what's available right on site at your schools, or what is available in the local community, which they have meetings quarterly where they share resources. So they're pretty up to date on what's available and accessible to members of the community. Utilizing your church's support. I know a lot of churches are now moving to having mental health ministries. They're moving to having social workers or mental health providers on the ministerial staff to support the congregation, because they're realizing that, yes, Jesus is what we need, but Jesus and therapist not going to hurt nobody, right?
Absolutely. Having
So
Jesus and a therapist never hurt.
never hurt nobody. So I believe that also, approaching your pastor or approaching the deacons, however your church is structured. Some churches smaller than others, they may have a different structure, but approach them and say, I need some help and I need support. And if you're a church, right, and you don't know what to do, seat.org. We are here. We provide trainings. We have resources and grants available. We'll come out. We'll help train you and your ministerial staff on some basics on how to support individuals who might need that kind of help at your.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
That is so important. I love the resource of seat.org, 988 211, even 911. If you can't think of the other two, call 911 if there's a situation that's imminent in your presence that you're aware of. Call 911 so you can get additional help and support. Dr. Magda Demmette, you've shared a lot of information with us. Please tell me, how do we get in touch with you at Wonderful Counsel? And how do we get in touch with you at seat.org? I think we have lost our connection. Dr. Demmette was able to share a great deal of information with us. Oh, there you are. Thank you for coming back on. We lost the connection for a moment. I was just asking and just wanting to know, how can we get in touch with you at Wonderful Counselor?
Oh, okay. So Wonderful Counselor is my private practice that I have in the city of North Miami. I'm located there. And so there's a few ways you could reach out to 786-906-8656. That's 786-906-8656 on our website, www.wonderfulcounselorllc.com. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok at the number one, the letter D, FUL counselor. That's at number one, the letter D, FUL counselor. So you can follow up and catch up with me that way.
That's great. Thank you so much for having that private practice. And the nonprofit of SEAT, what's the best way for anyone to connect with SEAT to get resources, but also to receive some of the grant funded counseling that you spoke of earlier?
Yes, so seat.org is definitely going to be the place to start. And you can definitely get all information from there as far as phone numbers and email. But the phone number is 305-488-4534. That's 305-488-4534 if you want to place a call in directly. But email and through our website is probably going to be the fastest way to get connected with SEAT. So SEAT is also connected. It was founded by four therapists who all of us have our respective private practices. And so we all have resources. I know I work with students. I have a student right now from FIU offering pro bono services, right? That means no cost to you out of pocket if insurance is a challenge. So don't let, oh, I don't have insurance or I don't have any money. Don't let that stop you from taking the first step. I honestly believe in this world, in this great country, if you want something, there is more than one way to skin that cat. We can find a way.
Absolutely. We want our people to have mental wellness. That's why this show is on this platform of the culture. We believe in reaching out and making sure everyone understands that they have access to mental wellness through professional people that look and sound just like them. I'm so glad you are here today and representing, but I have a few quick questions.
Go for
You
it.
ready?
Go for it. Oh, I don't, what, okay, go ahead.
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Share with our audience your favorite fresh juice.
Ooh. Ooh. What is it's not papaya, it's passion fruit.
Ooh, passion fruit. Do
Yes.
you know how to make it at home, or you going out to get it?
I don't know how to, I wish I did know how to make. I probably need to learn. But no, there's a nice little cafe not too far from my house that makes it. They make a nice one and a ginger one that's really nice.
Ooh, that sounds good. I love it. I love it. You have to tell me
Yeah.
more later. What about your favorite cookie? What's your favorite cookie?
Macadamian.
Oh, really? So you
Yes.
kind of like exotic fruits and exotic nuts. Okay. What about your
Yeah.
favorite cake?
Red velvet.
Red velvet. So lush,
Yeah.
luxury and desserts. I love it. If you
Yes.
had to share one app with our audience that you really enjoy and you feel like they would enjoy, what would that app be?
So, an app that I use. What? Just okay. Can I have two?
Yes, I'm gonna give you that.
Okay. All right. So, Insight Timer. I don't know if. Let me see if I could. Insight Timer.
Insight timer. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a little bell. It's a brown bell. It's called Insight Timer. And what it is, even at the free version, there's a paid version, but the free version can give you opportunities to create meditations for yourself, prayers for yourself. They have deep meditation sounds. They have people who are on here guiding you into different meditations. I love that app. And then my other app is my Samsung Health app. And there I track my meals, I track my steps, I track my womanly things, I track everything on this app, and it's connected to my watch. So it's almost like it looks out for me. It tells me, hey, have you eaten? Or hey, your iron is low. Hey, you need to X, Y, and Z. So I love it. Leveraging technology to help support our mental health we have to, and it's great. So Insight Timer, and for me, Samsung Health. For you, it might be iHealth. I don't know what iPhone app of that.
That works. That works. Thank you for sharing that with our audience. They could tap in and also benefit from Insight Timer and Samsung
Health.
I love
Samsung.
it. Last question. Share one of your most memorable trips or plans for a trip.
So, one of my most memorable trips. So I would say going to Puerto Rico last
Hmm.
year for my son's birthday. So we decided to go to Puerto Rico for his birthday, which was also the family trip because you know we're not rolling in the dough.
Right.
For his birthday.
Hello.
Also the summer family trip, but it was his birthday. And it was such an amazing time and the beaches were beautiful. But the reason why it sticks out for me is that I'm a cautious person. I'm very methodical. I'm very logical, and so I'm always kind of assessing risk and determining whether or not a risk is worth it, and that kind of thing. So I'm very careful, which is why I appreciate you so much, Belinda, because you're like, "Come on, no, let's go, let's do it," and I'm like, "Eh." But one of the things that I did on this trip was you have to climb the mountain, and we went through the thing, and then you have to jump off of the cliff into like this water thing. And I'm not the greatest swimmer, but do you know I put on my life vest and I jumped off that cliff?
Take a chance. Take a
And I
chance.
was like, I did, and I got down there, and I was like, I did it. I was like a little kid. I did it. I did it. And my children were like, yes, mommy, you did it. And
Good job,
like,
Mom. Get it together.
I was so proud of myself just taking a leap and taking a chance.
Yeah,
It did a lot more for me than they realized. But
absolutely.
that trip, yeah.
Thank you so much for taking a leap and taking a chance to be in our guest here today on Mental Wellness for the Culture. I appreciate all of your words about immigrants and trauma, as well as your words about September being Suicide Prevention Month. We want to make sure we continue these conversations. Please, anybody in the audience that wants to speak to Dr. Magda Demmette, reach out to her. She will respond. Reach out to me, Belinda Battle at BGB Counseling Services. I will respond. We look forward to hearing your feedback, your comments, and please share this podcast so that our community can receive all of the information needed to be mentally well. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you next time on Mental Wellness.
Take